Wellness begins where play, pleasure, and the parasympathetic meet. You were born to be you, and you were born to be well. Your body is always trying to find its way back to health. Now, here's the host of Your Healing Playground with Dr. Tina Coopersmith.
Hello, my friends. Happy morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you are in the world when you're listening to this. You are listening to Your Healing Playground. I am your host, Dr. Tina Coopersmith, your witchy doctor. And you are on Your Healing Playground. We are on the Inspired Choices Network. And today I have with me my friend and teacher, really, Justine Reiss. And we are speaking on how reclaiming your voice can reclaim your life, because that is what Justine does, teaches, and embodies. And from voiceover actor to really on the stage speaker, from behind the scenes to in front of the scenes, really is what she's doing. And from behind the scenes mom to professional woman, right? She wears lots of hats, and you got a taste of her voiceover if you listen to the welcome intro. And now I'm so honored that you were willing to come on the show with me, Justine. And this show, as you know, I call it Your Healing Playground because everyone has a unique journey, and don't think the way you heal is the same as everybody else. Healing, we all have different ways to heal, mind, body, heart, and spirit. And we heal through play because life is our playground. And when we are playing at life and in flow and in the moment, the body actually can do its healing. And whether that's mind, emotions, spirit, body, all of it, like it's really when we get to this moment right now. So welcome to this moment. Tell me all about your journey and, where did you feel unhealed and how did you heal? And I know some of it happened during the pandemic, so a lot of people will absolutely relate to that. But you have your whole life before, after the pandemic. So give us a little, nutshell, bird's eye view of the Justine.
Thank you so much, Tina, for having me and allowing me to do your intro and outro. Or maybe just the intro. It's really fun to lock arms with you, and having known you for so long, somewhat socially, and getting to know you professionally and really spiritually as well. My journey, like most of us, begins long before I thought it did, when we started creating patterns that I didn't realize until more recently that were getting set. And that is where, ironically, learning to use my voice to express other people's words was a way of coming out of hiding, I think, before I realized that's exactly what it was. When I grew up, my parents grew up in New York and very, I think, tightly bound around family in a lot of great, wonderful ways. But they sort of escaped some of their Jewish, my father was in sort of a Jewish Orthodox lifestyle, and they moved out to California when I was very young. And they kind of get into a more hippie type of vibe. And I'll reflect back on that later. But as I grew up as a kid, I wanted to be an actress, but I was really terrified to do so because of things that had happened much earlier in childhood. And I think this is where the word reclaim and getting into healing kind of comes up when we start to look at where did our voices feel shut down, and that can happen at a really young age. And for me, in like fourth grade, I've realized now there was a teacher that said, I brought a creative writing piece to class and I was very proud of it, and it was called The Sexy Snowflake. And she thought that was very inappropriate, and she called my mother and kind of called me out, right? Her name was Mrs. Fleer. She had these horn-rimmed glasses. I mean, when I did the artist way later, which is I actually teach the artist way now.
Yeah.
She became my critic, like the drawing of her with her horn-rimmed glasses. And then the next year, another teacher said I couldn't be in the school play because my grades weren't good enough. So these formative years when we're like between 8 and look, I'm not a psychologist. I am just a woman who's gone a little bit deeper into why did I feel so shut down, and how can I help other people, and specifically other women, get to this point. And I think we've got to look at these little pivotal moments that shape and make decisions for us, because if we don't, those decisions are making choices for us later in life. Luckily,
100%.
yeah, right. And it's like,
I lived a different story, same storyline. So I totally get you.
exactly. And I love that, tying this into mind, body, spirit is great. I always say I'm, as one of my mentors says, I'm Justin Michael Williams. I'm half woo woo and I'm half neuroscience proving it, and that's, I
just
feel
like
like,
me.
and I know you come from the background, and, my
Yeah.
father was a physician. And so, but they were living this like hippy dippy lifestyle. And so my parents, as much as I was angry with them for lots of things that happened, I realized they did me the best solid by forcing me to go to drama camp between sophomore and junior year of high school. Because what I started to think about myself was, well, I can't perform and I'm not smart, but I'm pretty. So I will just hang out with the pretty girls. And that was enough to get attention, but not really the attention that I really wanted or really sought, because nobody was really seeing me. And I was so comfortable to stay hidden in that way. Going to drama camp let me feel like I could be myself and it was okay. I came back to school, I did plays. I wish it all was healing from then on, but that was the phase of coming into my own, going to college, becoming a theater major. Don't let your kids do that. Become a business major too. Don't not be a theater major. Just
so let me just, I have two things just so our parallel lives, which is so funny. So the book that I'm putting together is, number one, all I learned about wellness, I learned in summer camp, right? Because summer camp was a place for me to be whole and not just the student of go, 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 go. And ironically, I went to medical school. They didn't send me to business school. I ran my practice like a hobby. If I read, I think it was my producer's book that I just read, that the Christine, who put out her great book this last week, was nobody gave me business knowledge because my father was anti-business, right? So we had these patterns from childhood. I have them, you have them, no matter where you are in, I'm going to be an actor, I'm going to be a doctor, I'm going to be a this. Everything is business because
100%.
we're selling our own energy. Money is energy. You put your life force into it, you get paid for that. And it's okay to be paid for your life force.
Right.
And so
I love this so much. I love this so much because this is where we get so hung up. And, when you said that, I started to think about, well, my dad was in a practice, but he was not a businessman. He knew how to run finances. I think he taught me how to balance my checkbook and things like that. My mother was a trailblazing, marathon running, environmentalist, but she always had what she needed, right? She never had that need to go out and earn money. She did earn money, but it was not a need. So it was always there. So I don't think she was hung up around it, but she also didn't know how to manage it. Thus, Justine really never learned either, because somebody else was always doing that. And then getting married and in a marriage where he was doing it and neither one of us was doing it. It was just sort of like bury your head in the sand. And I guess we'll just fast forward to what my acting brought me to was doing voiceover pretty early on, because I loved that I could create stuff behind this and then not be judged for this. And it wasn't that I was insecure about my looks. I think I'm pretty confident. But when you move out to LA and the whole vibe and the whole scene, I worked in a casting office pretty early on for voiceover, and it was so much fun. I mean, I didn't know what I was doing. I always laugh because I show my first voiceover demo, which is this little cassette here, which shows how long I've been doing it. And what I was able to learn was how to express myself in a much more free way without having all this stuff in front of, having to worry about what it's looking like. Of course, back then we went into studios. When we started doing the home studio, and that's where we get into the pandemic, home studios were already happening, but it became, you could own this industry a little bit more. For me, in terms of the healing, what I started to feel is, even though I was expressing myself with my voice, I was still not really expressing my inner voice. And I was unhappy, and I wanted to blame that on everybody else. And I just really didn't understand what really was going on. I just knew I was very unhappy. And, my marriage was not, we weren't good communicators. So I was not able, I guess my point is, even though I was professionally making money with my voice, I was really not using my voice. And I didn't realize that. And what I wanted to do was keep running away, because my mom, as I said, was a marathon runner. And they were very busy people, traveling, planning the next meal from one thing to the next. And so when I realized, oh, this is a time to sit still because I don't have any choice, kills all the FOMO. And I did get to keep working because my job was teaching voiceover and doing voiceover. Everything became virtual. Best case scenario for me, except that we had sold our house, which I didn't want to do. And that was a tipping point, living in a rental, hating everything that was there, except that our family was getting to spend time together. It gave me pause. It gave me that very needed stillness. And I started to meditate, and I started to vision what I really wanted in my life. And it wasn't where I was. So then came the hard choices. But I do call that period the pandemic pause. And for many people out there, it was some kind of shift happened, and it wasn't always pretty. Mine wasn't either, but it gave me a chance to really sit still. And so that acronym for pause, I don't know if you know it, we hear it in 12-step a lot: postpone action until serenity emerges.
Oh, I love that.
Isn't it great?
Can you say that again for
I will.
our
So write it
audience?
down
Because
out
it's
there.
so good. Yes.
Postpone action until serenity emerges. And that brings us, I never wanted to sit still that long. It's so uncomfortable. And this is where I believe in the reclaiming part, is that we have to sit with those things that are so uncomfortable long enough to understand that that's where the true next action is going to come to us.
So I want to invite in, and I've talked about this before on this program of yin and yang, and I too was, as a physician, it's yang energy. It is go, 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 go. And ideally, and we're human, right? Doctors aren't gods. Just remember that mistakes happen, right? Humans make mistakes. But mistakes are just fuel to learn, to grow from, to springboard into making a better decision the next time. There are no bad decisions, and you're always good enough, and we make mistakes. But when you're go, 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 you don't take the time to learn and reflect and actually necessarily improve. You just ruminate on the mistake because you're not taking that time. And the heart of yang energy is yin. So in all the bustle of yang is the reflection in the yin. And in the yin, the heart of the yin is the yang. So the wholeness is yin and yang, but there's always yang and yin and yin and yang. And in our reflection, we springboard into action to the next step. And that's in the yin energy, we actually have yang energy emerges. And in the yang energy, if we do not pause, then we are not whole, because we never, ever get to the deeper truths of who we are. And so we are about to take our break. And I invite everybody, every physician who runs from the minute they wake up in the morning till they go to bed at night. We are on a path as physicians that it was laid out by our fathers and our grandfathers before that. And I literally say fathers and grandfathers because it was men doing this. And I never had the freedom to think outside the box. And the few times I did, I got whacked. Why do you want to study acupuncture? That's not okay. Why do you want a fellowship and going? I applied for a loose fellowship to go to Asia. Like, how cool was that? My father was like, you won't go to med school. So I invite everybody. Why do we recommend meditation? Not to be a good meditator, but to slow down every day. And those physicians and nurses who were in the pandemic, we didn't have a pandemic pause.
Right.
We revved up more.
Mm-hmm.
And we need to slow down and reflect on what the pandemic taught us.
Right.
Because we all learned from the pandemic, maybe, if we slow down and pause. And on that, we will take our break because it's a perfect little break time. You are listening to Your Healing Playground. I am Dr. Tina Cooper-Smith, your host. I am a speaker, a doctor, a coach, a writer, and we are with Justine Reiss, and we are on the Inspired Choices Network today. Take it away, break.
Science, spirit, and sensation dance together. Your host, Dr. Tina Cooper-Smith, physician, coach, healer, and play advocate, returns weekly to remind you that healing isn't just about pills and protocols. Western medicine is just one of many healing modalities. True wellness is about energy, emotion, pleasure, and play. On this show, Dr. Tina explores the playground of your body, mind, heart, and soul. From neuroscience to sensuality, from root chakra to real talk. She'll share tools, stories, and soulful strategies to shift you out of fear and back into joy. Because if you're alive and breathing, your story is still unwritten, and you deserve to write it with love. Together, you'll learn to breathe, feel, and play your way back to wellness, because you are your best healer.
Are you a subject matter expert? Are you here to share your expertise with an audience waiting to hear from you in only the way you can deliver? Are you ready to have your voice amplified across the airwaves? Inspired Choices Network has a global radio platform streaming to millions of people across the world. Professionally produced and supported by an accomplished team every step of the way, you can broadcast from anywhere in the world, knowing your voice matters, and we ensure it is delivered with ease and efficiency. Eager to hear your message, the world awaits. Contact us today to become an Inspired Choices Network radio host. Email becomeahost@inspiredchoicesnetwork.com.
This is Your Healing Playground with Dr. Tina Cooper-Smith. To participate in the program, join the live studio audience in our chat room at inspiredchoicesnetwork.com. You can also send an email to info@womensreproduction.com. Now, back to our program.
Welcome back, my friends. You are listening to Your Healing Playground. I am Dr. Tina Cooper-Smith, your coach, your doctor, your speaker, your whatever, your host. And we are on the Inspired Choices Network. I have with me my guest, Justine Reiss, and she is all about reclaiming your voice, teaching people how to get in touch with their real selves, their real voice, and use it. And we're talking also always about healing. So I'd like to go back to this pandemic pause that we were talking about and how I'm going to get it right. No, I'm not. You're going to pandemic pause. Nope. Tell me again what pause stands for.
Okay, great. Postpone action until serenity emerges.
Postpone action until serenity emerges. I am writing it down because I need that.
Good one.
Serenity emerges. Yeah.
I can claim it, but I can't say I wrote it.
That's okay. Everyone needs to hear it. Postpone action until serenity emerges, right? When I went to Campowerment, Women's Empowerment, we have a 3-day, like you're busting out, you feel great. And they always say, now go home and don't change a thing for a minimum of 72 hours, right? Same thing.
That's it.
So let me ask you, I'm going to just pivot a little bit because there are people here that possibly are listening because they're trying to figure out how to heal themselves, right? Because I am a physician. I talk about healing. Yeah. And you really had, yes, you have to reclaim your voice, reclaim your life, but you also had to go through a healing journey with a cancer, and you decided, you and your spouse, to split. So that's an emotional upheaval, which both of those, right? That's rocking your boat, right? Mentally, emotionally, physically, facing death, potentially facing, oh my God, how do I do life alone? I've been in a partnership, and you and I both are, similar ages. We were taught you got to grow up and be in a partnership. You're not allowed as a woman to be alone. It's just not
No.
It's not appropriate. You're going to be alone. It's bad. People want to. So I want you to talk about how reclaiming your voice and using your voice helped you heal, or how you feel these illnesses or these obstacles in your life helped you heal, and that they were
Mhm.
gifts and not. I always say they're opportunity. Even illness is an opportunity to grow if we sit with it. It's our body trying to get us back online.
100.
And
And
if
yes.
we allow it, that's when the healing happens. So you're
Yeah.
here as surviving and thriving post breast cancer. So
Yeah.
talk to my audience about that.
Oh, thank you for bringing that up because it's something, it feels like such a blip and it feels long ago now that I don't give it a lot of credence because so the interesting story is that my mother was diagnosed, I think in the 80s with something. And I always thought she had had a lumpectomy. My father's a radiologist. And then there was one moment where he said to me in my 30s, we just found out from a pathologist, your mom never had breast cancer. So now you're not genetically whatever, blah, 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 blah.
Predisposed, right? Which
Predisposed. Okay.
not
Cut
true.
to
I just
not
want to
true.
put
None of
an
it was true, by the way. My
okay, but
mother,
I also want to put it out there for people that yes, if you have a family history, you have an increased risk, but 80% of women who have breast cancer, there's no family history. So just by being female, you're at risk. So
right.
let's move on
And
from
by the
there.
way, um, again, so many fallacies started to open up. So over the time period of, I think, moving to Los Angeles, which was in about 95, for the next like 5 years, 10 years, I had so many different biopsies on my left breast. They kept seeing
Oh,
something. It was a very tough place. You couldn't needle biopsy it. So I had to have surgery twice. I had surgery. It was benign. It was benign. It was benign. In 2014, I had this feeling when I got that phone call after the mammogram. I think we started doing the ultrasounds too. Um, I had to go in for the biopsy. They were able to do it with a needle. It was the most lovely radiologist that did it. And he called me, and my father's a radiologist, so there's a reason I'm telling you this part. He called me directly, and I'll never forget. I was driving on Whitsett, and I knew I just had this feeling. I'm like, this is the one that I'm going to have breast cancer. And he explained it to me that it was stage 0, it was ductal carcinoma in situ, blah, 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 blah. But it was cancer, and it wasn't a rush, but we're gonna have to do something. And it was like gearing up towards Christmas. So I made an appointment. I remember telling my mother too, I'm like, I'm just gonna get a mastectomy. I think I'm just gonna get a mastectomy. I mean, I don't want to fuck around with this. Sorry, excuse me. So, and she was like, oh, Justine, that's so dramatic. My mother worked for the Breast Cancer Fund, and she had written an article about Angelina Jolie's choice to have a double mastectomy when she got her BRCA positive test.
mm-hmm.
My mother, not that that was a wrong choice, but she wanted to point out that not everybody could make that choice if they were given that kind of a diagnosis
Right.
due to not having insurance or not being able to afford it or whatever. And so she was just pointing that out. And it was very controversial at the time,
Yeah.
but I understood it in that moment. And what ended up happening is I went on the path of trying to find out what the heck was going on. The first doctor I went to said I could have a lumpectomy, but he said, how do you feel about breast reconstruction? I was like, I didn't even know what he was talking about. I was like, what? And I was like, okay, silver lining. I get to have a boob job. All right, great. That, made it a little more palatable. But when I found out what was going on, the pathology came, we went to a different pathologist, and it was high grade, close to the edge of the skin, close, what do you call that, Tina?
To the areola.
Yeah, no, not close to the areola, close to the skin. In other words, not large margins. So it would be hard to go in.
Oh, thin margins. Got it.
Thin
Okay.
margins. Everything came out, spit out a number of 11. My age at the time, all of these things.
Yeah.
So it spit out a number of 11. At 12, they recommend mastectomy. I'm like, it's mastectomy. And going through the journey of finding the doctors, I never really felt in fear. That's not true. I mean, I guess it wasn't more of a survival, like the breast cancer was going to kill me. I just felt like the whole thing was going to wear on me and everything had to stop. The beauty in those moments is that everything has to stop.
Interesting, right? You had a pause that you don't even realize you had a pause before the pandemic.
That was the pause. And in those
Right.
moments, the crazy thing is when I look back on my marriage, and I have written about this in a couple of anthology books, I felt the closest to my husband. We were great in a crisis. He had a heart attack at 46
Mm.
years before
Oh,
that.
wow.
Yeah. So we'd gone through some of those very, very hard things. He had lost his mother around the same time. So we were good in those moments. It was like regular life we weren't as good at. If
Hmm.
everything had to stop and we got to focus on one another, there was love there. It just, we got caught up in other things.
Hmm.
But my decision to have I had a left breast a unilateral mastectomy. So our big joke was, so long,
Hmm.
lefty, you've been nothing but trouble. And my husband actually told me Amazon warrior women cut off their left breast for better use of their bow and arrow. And so
Oh.
I got a tattoo of an arrow. I'm a Sagittarius. Like all the arrow metaphors of pulling,
Oh.
letting go really started to speak to me. That was
And
probably,
left is past, right is forward, I think.
yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And
Interesting.
it really felt like there was a shift for me internally, both because, yes, you're hitting a moment, a chapter in life where this could be much worse. This could come back again. What am I doing with my one beautiful life? All of those things. Am I happy? And my body was now different,
Right.
literally.
It's a big
And it was
difference. And
different
for
both because,
women, the breast is the external, for so many women, it represents the external beauty of who they are. And that's where they nurture their kids, and that's how they attract their partner. And there's so much wrapped up in this one organ in our society with swimsuit issues and
I'm
boob
really glad, like
jobs and
I haven't really had someone really say it like that. And you're absolutely right. And there were some really kind of funny moments looking back because I was doing a unilateral mastectomy. There's no way to make your boobs look even, ultimately, right?
right.
And I found an amazing doctor. And that was the hardest thing, was finding the pair of doctors. I finally said, Dr. Chung at Cedars, unbelievable breast surgeon, but then you need your breast reconstruction. And
Right.
I didn't want to have just a plastic surgeon that did boob jobs. I wanted somebody that I don't know. I don't know what it was looking for, but when I found Dr. Culber, also at Cedars, he was like this young, he wasn't young. I don't know how old he is. Doesn't matter. He's like a surfer dude. He seemed like he could be in my family, but he's a hand surgeon. Mostly he's a hand surgeon, and he does breast
Interesting.
reconstruction for breast cancer patients. So this felt like the right kind of fit for me, and he does beautiful work, of course, too. That was important too. But he said to me, it's very funny when women are looking for their breast reconstruction surgeon, they will interview 5 or more doctors. When you're getting brain surgery, averages 2.
Yeah, and that's fascinating. I just have a person I know who did a breast reduction, and it took her a long time to find the right human. And it was very much, who's going to listen to me? Who's going to give me the right size? I don't want to wake up and I'm bigger than I'm supposed to be. I want to go to this side. And it is interesting. And also what's interesting, which I realize, there's not many surgical procedures that we do that we have two surgeons in the OR with similar but different specialties. How interesting. You go,
Yes.
you got colon cancer, you got a general surgeon taking out your colon. You're not having reconstruction
Right.
to make it look pretty, right? And so fascinating that the general surgeons that specialize in breast cancer actually collaborate with someone else that specializes in the visual. It just in
Well,
the competition versus
Dr. Tina,
collaboration, it just
100%. And for
shocking.
me, I think because I am a collaborative person, maybe more than most people, I was looking for, who's my team? How
Yeah.
will we work together? And this was my team.
But that's what
Dr.
women do. Women
Right.
collaborate, not like the love that comes through the feminine side is collaboration. And what a perfect time to take our break on collaborating. First
Perfect.
break was on pausing, second break on collaborating. I love it. So we will take another break. You are listening to Your Healing Playground. I am Dr. Tina Cooper Smith, your host. We are on the Inspired Choices Network, and we are with Justine Reiss today talking about reclaiming voice. Let's go to break.
Your healing playground is the space where science, spirit, and sensation dance together. Your host, Dr. Tina Coopersmith, physician, coach, healer, and play advocate, returns weekly to remind you that healing isn't just about pills and protocols. Western medicine is just one of many healing modalities. True wellness is about energy, emotion, pleasure, and play. On this show, Dr. Tina explores the playground of your body, mind, heart, and soul. From neuroscience to sensuality, from root chakra to real talk. She'll share tools, stories, and soulful strategies to shift you out of fear and back into joy. Because if you're alive and breathing, your story is still unwritten, and you deserve to write it with love. Together, you'll learn to breathe, feel, and play your way back to wellness, because you are your best healer.
How wonderful would it be to carry your favorite Inspired Choices Network host with you throughout your day? Well, now you can. Inspired Choices Network now has its very own mobile app. Our free app offers live streaming shows, along with thousands of podcasts and TV episodes. Our shows cover a wide variety of topics. Whether you're waking up with us, carrying us through the day, and taking us to bed with you, we're always here for you to enjoy. We're easy to find. Just search for Inspired Choices Network in the Apple App Store or Google Play Store.
This is your healing playground with Dr. Tina Coopersmith. To participate in the program, join the live studio audience in our chat room at inspiredchoicesnetwork.com. You can also send an email to info@womensreproduction.com. Now, back to our program.
Welcome back, everybody. You are listening to Your Healing Playground. I am Dr. Tina Coopersmith, your witchy little soul doctor, your speaker, your coach, and we are on the Inspired Choices Network. I have with me Justine Reiss. You can check out my website, my retreats, and my coaching programs, as well as my physicianing at womensreproduction.com. You can look up Justine Reiss. I will have all her information in the show notes. She does teach you how to reclaim your voice. If you want to be a better speaker, if you want to find your voice, if you just want to discover how to speak better at home, right? To have a more assertive voice in your household. It doesn't have to be online. You can check out Justine Reiss, and let's continue with our show. So,
All right.
We talked about pausing during the pandemic. We talked about slowing down with breast cancer, rebuilding yourself, rebuilding your life. How do you feel these pauses have helped you kind of heal yourself mentally, emotionally, physically, spiritually, so that you can springboard into living a more authentic life, right? With your authentic voice?
Yes. I love the question. You know, my superpower, I think, has been helping people really find their authentic voice. And it's a superpower. When I teach master classes in voiceover specifically, I'm always looking for the conversational tone, the natural ability. We are reading a script and having to sound natural. It's not normal. We're taught to read by honoring punctuation. We're not taught to read that way. So it doesn't make sense.
Oh, that's
And
interesting.
it's a skill. And most people think, oh, if I do voiceover, I'm just going to get one of these. So being able to teach people that it's so much more than that. And what's really going to book voiceover jobs is their authentic voice, and taking that into the rest of the world and into myself. And as I was sitting in that rental house, very, unhappy, I started to make some choices, and I got help from 12-step programs, Al-Anon specifically. And I had therapy, but I also started meditating, and I found what has become my mentor and coach, and who certified me to teach the Dream Bigger meditation is Justin Michael Williams. I found him on Insight Timer. And I'm like, who is this? Who is this person? He's talking to me. You know, there were lots of meditation facilitators on that app. And that was an incredible thing during the pandemic, is to use technology to find people and build community. When we had looked at technology as only a divisive mechanism that was, you know, destroying our communication ability at that time, it was incredibly important. And I truly believe that kind of finding something outside of myself, getting out of my own will, like I'm supposed to figure this out. No, I'm not. We are not built to figure things out on our own. We don't have the family dynamics that we used to have growing up. You know, these books that you've actually read, my aunt's book, How to Make Money. I narrate books. That book is about generational trauma, but the family went through it together.
Yes.
Not saying
community is, and
right?
I want to change healthcare to group classes because, and especially
this,
women, there's, I forget the guy's name, but it might have been Mark Hyman with someone. And when you put people together in community, then they're supporting each other to grow, and they're seeing themselves as mirrors to each other. And right. Oh, you eat this, I eat this. Did you try this? Did you try that? Did you try this sex? Like we grow, and the Western medical system has nuclear familyed our healing, and we heal better in community, just like we live better in community.
And there's no question, the blue zones have proved it. Every single, self-improvement speaker out there is about what we are thriving on in our later years is connection. And that starts obviously in our younger years. I mean, there's so much to this. We could talk forever, and so many wonderful organizations like the Modern Elder Academy that I am a part of and an alumni of, and the Diva Network, which I'm pulling into. The Diva Network is a global network, and I would love to post those things on the podcast, because we are a global network of entrepreneurial women. But you don't have to be an entrepreneurial woman. You don't have to decide I'm a businesswoman. Women helping women, and the men who support us, and we are finding something different as we are locking arms together. Things are happening. I don't want to go off on too much of a tangent. I want to get back to the
question at hand. Yeah.
The question at hand of how do you reclaiming. How did I do that? So by taking this time, by sitting still, by creating what I wanted for myself. I'd never taken the time. And that happened in meditation. And that's the Dream Bigger meditation, is all about create the vision, sit still long enough till it comes to you. Don't force it. And it might not be easy. And there's a pathway. And when I teach Reclaim the Voice, is part of what I'm going to do. And I have a masterclass next week. I'm going to tell you guys about it because it's free, and I would love to introduce this to more people. But we start to create that vision. The problem with most of us is we don't know what the vision is. If we don't know what the vision is, we don't know how to get there.
So I'm going in a program right now, and one of the things she says, and I want to push this out there, and one of the reasons I might do the program is we usually know what the dream is, but we don't think we're allowed to have that dream. And we're not vibrating in the right frequency because something in us is saying we're not actually allowed to have that dream.
And that's the old voice.
That is the old voice. It's the childhood not good enough voice. And, Marianne Williams says the greatest fear is that we're bigger than we are. And we've been taught that the way you go through life is through hard work and struggle and just put your head down and work. And we're learning that there's this magical quality to life that has been around for centuries, millennia, and has been silenced by those in power to keep those people working so hard. And while the kings would play, and even now the corporate leaders are, 4-hour work weeks, and everybody else is trained to work really hard and do all the work. But now with AI, AI might lead to our extinction, and AI, they literally may kill us because they're taught that they're smart and they're smarter than us. So what do they need the humans who are destroying the planet?
Well, one of the
And
things I think that it's important about AI is to keep, this is why it's important to keep using our voices, because as much as AI can do, it still can't think, it can't breathe. And I heard this recently. You know what it really can't do? It can't pray.
well, it's so funny that you should say this because we don't really know how AI is going to evolve. And the point is, if we want a world that evolves with compassion and believing in the spiritual and believing in the interdependence of vegetable, animal, human, earth, sky, and AI, then we need to bring humanity, which is all the not the brain, all the heart
Right.
and the connection and collaboration into using AI. So
Right.
yes, and into
All right. Let's
more
try
on
and
you because we're gonna be cut short really soon.
okay. Well, then I'm gonna just cut to the point. So yes, sitting still, understanding what, creating the vision. I saw a house with a mountain view. I knew I needed to get out of my marriage, and I just spoke up and I got brave, and it's the courage to be able to change and all the scary things. And then all of a sudden I got here and it was like, okay, well now I'm here. I had a son that was still in high school. My ex-husband moved away and I had to do a lot of things on my own. So being in fear and doing it anyway.
That's what courage is.
That's
It's
what courage is.
not having fear. It's doing it anyway.
And when
Right.
people come to me, my experience is helping people start something they think they can't have, which is a voiceover career, right? So I got so used to talking people out of fear, not talking people out of fear, but letting them understand where I just got off the phone with someone right before came to you. I want this, I want this, I want this, I want this. I could start with this much money. Oh, but can I wait till Monday? Tomorrow is not promised. And we have to
Yeah.
take a leap, and money is as an abundant flow as well. And so with the program Reclaim Your Voice, and I'm going to do a masterclass next Thursday at noon.
Let's say that again. Masterclass next Thursday at noon for free.
For free to really talk about this, to introduce what we can do by using these tools. We've got to look at some of the shadow parts of ourselves.
Yes.
And that's stuff I've learned from wonderful people like Robert Augustus Masters and Justin Michael Williams. So it's light. We have to look at the light. Where was our voice magical? Then we look at where did we feel shut down? And it's not going to be just one time, but there might be one major time. And that might be in relationships because it's showing up professionally. It's also showing up in our relationships. And
our patterns pattern us, and our patterns pattern us until we see the pattern.
Right. And I also lead retreats, and I'm going back to Costa Rica to an eco lodge where we raft in and we raft out so we can feel the fear in the raft, but we know we're safe. And then we can talk about how does that feel? Where can we push our edge and discover what our edge is and be willing to go a little bit further with it. And that's how, and figure out how much money we can charge for it. And so the Diva Network is the other place that I feel like us locking arms. I'm doing something called Diva Locals, and Tina's my first official legacy member, but we have chapters building in Chicago, Florida, New York. We want to be a sisterhood and Brazil already. So we intend to have 500 chapters within the year. There's opportunity to be a chapter president. So reach out to me about that, where you can start building a community and you have a backbone of support. And yes, there's some financial investment. It's not a lot, but that's because their support is there. And to build something, how great to be able, like, I'm going to a convention in Chicago. I've got a Diva local sister.
I love it.
So,
and we're getting ready for break. And so I want to remind us as we get ready for break that the biggest trees in this world, in the redwood forests of California, grow because they have lateral roots. They hold each other up. They don't go deep, they go wide. They go wide, they collaborate. They are really a huge forest that supports one another. And the aspen trees in Colorado are actually one tree with gazillion roots and gazillion trunks and branches and all that. And so that is the same for us humans. We get bigger, better, stronger when we do it in community, in collaboration. We raise our voices together, not to fight one over the other, not to shut people down, not through fear, not through scarcity, through abundance, through love, through collaboration. And on that note, we will take our break. You are listening to Your Healing Playground.
Your
I
Healing
am Dr.
Playground
Tina
is the
Cooper-Smith,
space
your
where
host.
science, spirit, and sensation
We are on
dance
the Inspired
together.
Choices Network.
Your host, Dr. Tina Cooper-Smith, physician, coach, healer, and play advocate, returns weekly to remind you that healing isn't just about pills and protocols. Western medicine is just one of many healing modalities. True wellness is about energy, emotion, pleasure, and play. On this show, Dr. Tina explores the playground of your body, mind, heart, and soul. From neuroscience to sensuality, from root chakra to real talk. She'll share tools, stories, and soulful strategies to shift you out of fear and back into joy. Because if you're alive and breathing, your story is still unwritten, and you deserve to write it with love. Together, you'll learn to breathe, feel, and play your way back to wellness, because you are your best healer. This is Your Healing Playground with Dr. Tina Cooper-Smith. To participate in the program, join the live studio audience in our chat room at inspiredchoicesnetwork.com. You can also send an email to info@womensreproduction.com. Now, back to our program.
Welcome back. You are in the last segment of today's episode of Your Healing Playground. I am Dr. Tina Cooper-Smith, your host. We are on the Inspired Choices Network. I have with me Justine Reiss, and she is a voiceover teacher, speaker, coach, a whole lot of things. And she's also a breast cancer survivor and thriver. And so I invite anyone, if you're liking this podcast, please share it with your friends. Perhaps you know someone who's had breast cancer, who needs a little pick-me-up, who needs a pause, who needs to know there's life in the other side, that you can reconstruct yourself and rebuild yourself bigger, better, stronger, like the bionic man and bionic woman. And life is to be lived, enjoyed, and played with every breath. And back to you, Justine. Let's talk a little bit, if you want, about your Diva Network, about your coach coming up, your class coming up, and how you want to bring their voice to more people, in a sense. What's your I know you're even involved, you've gone to Africa, and you really want to empower, really every woman on the planet to find their voice, right? And that's what I want to do, right? I want people to be their own healer and recognize the power within. We have a self-cleaning oven and a self-healing machine. It's brilliant. Octopuses grow their own arms, lizards grow tails. Like, humans have the ability to heal if given all the right tools, right? And the key is finding out what tools work for you. And so certainly having collaboration is a big one.
Yeah.
And
I think
speaking up
in this season of life, I never really was taught about being of service. It was just not something that was really taught to me. My father was a doctor, so I guess he was of service. My mother was an environmentalist. They were of service, but they never really instilled it into me. I had an opportunity to go to Africa last summer and bring reusable menstrual products to empower young women. There's a crisis in many third world countries that they don't have proper hygiene, they don't have places to change, and the girls literally stop getting educated because once they get their periods, they cannot stay in school. They have
a week of every month they don't go to school. Week of every month they lose school.
They stop going back. They literally drop out. So now we have a culture that is accepting the fact that the women aren't educated and are now being reduced to whatever their mothers did. But it's changing. Things are changing. And we went over there and we brought the reusable menstrual products that we got from places like the Pad Project. One of our women who has a wonderful organization called You, she's actually back there right now doing the same thing. And they taught the boys how to put the sanitary napkin in. I got to teach the kids how to laugh. I don't speak Swahili, but laughter is universal. Yes. Laughter is a connector. And I have worked with other organizations where we have corporate wellness programs bringing laughter. And this is so great for healthcare.
So
Tina.
I would say for us, laughter connects, but all emotions actually
Yes.
are ways that we connect one to another. When you cry, you invite in someone to give
One
you
else's
healing.
emotion.
When you laugh, you invite in someone to feel your joy. And all
But when you have
emotions
a
are
very
energy
short
to
period of
connect.
time, when you have a
Yeah.
very short period of time with a group of people, if you can tap into the laughter and the joy
Oh,
and the
absolutely.
playground,
Yes.
that is a very good icebreaker, and it is a connection. If I start laughing, you will start laughing too. Let's try it right now. Like if you take a breath.
Yeah. No, if we just
Oh,
smiling,
right.
we all, it's
Smile, and that
infectious.
we use
It's
these are things
infectious.
we use in voiceover. So bringing true emotion into words is something that I am committed to. Doing it with the African kids. Now we're talking about what's happening in their bodies, what's happening in their hearts, what's happening in their minds. You talk about connecting all the chakras. Then I got to work with entrepreneurial women that I was absolutely sure were going to shun us and be mad that these white women were coming in, opened the gates, hugged us, danced with us. That's the first thing they did with us, danced with us. And then I got to lead them in this vision meditation
That's
about their
great.
businesses. And they microfund with $2 a month. And they are the happiest women I've ever seen.
I just again, we're almost at time, so I just want to.
So let's bring it home. And then I got to work with some breast cancer women also over there. So yes, having global impact. So what I want to do with my programs, reclaim the voice for power, purpose, and profit. It's okay to make money, right? To understand that whatever your thing is, whatever you're trying to do, whether it's purpose-driven, entrepreneurial, you can have it once you get into the heart of what's stopping you, and for many reasons. And play is very important. So the Diva Network has been a place that's just helped me expand. We have a global network. We are taking trips together, and then we've got Diva locals that are starting up in person. So I will give you guys some links that you can come directly to even our free master classes every Tuesday morning at 9 o'clock. Tina has been, we always have different guests. And then there's a lot more to have through that organization. And
so I'm going to put a plug in for the Diva Network that think about doing it at lunchtime for those of us still working in old fashioned hours, because that's the hardest thing for me as a working physician sometimes is to go on these calls that occur during working hours, right? Because so I invite everyone who's listening on this podcast today, whatever illness you have, reflect on how you can use it as a springboard. If you are breathing, you are still alive. And if you are still alive, you can make a difference in this world, to yourself, to someone else, connect with someone, help somebody. When you gift the gift of connection one to another, you're uplifted, they're uplifted. Use your voice to connect, use your laughter, use your emotions. And again, if I'm breathing, I'm alive, I'm okay. The rest is story. And guess what? Justine can help you rewrite your story. That's what she does. So we're all here writing a story. And until it's over, the story's unwritten. And guess what? Van Gogh thought he was a failed painter. The story continues to be written even after you're here on this planet. So that last smile, that last touch, that last hug you give a loved one continues. It's never ending. Love just is abundant. And love is what makes the world go round. Collaboration is what makes the world go round. There's no scarcity to love. It's exponential. And if you've had more than one child, I'm telling you, you know. If you've had a puppy and you want another one, you know you can love. And love is exponential and expanding. Fear is the opposite. We can hold fear, we can accept it, but it's false expectations appearing real, that false experiences appearing real. So celebrate love and understand that fear is part of love. And I'm on this planet to bring more and more love to more and more people, because love heals, joy heals, connection heals, and you can heal yourself and others with a simple smile. On
If
that
you
note,
felt something move today, a molecule, a mindset, or your mood, that's healing.
good.
Your body listens to your stories, your thoughts, your breath. So speak to yourself with kindness, play with curiosity, and let your nervous system know it's safe to rest. Dr. Tina returns Monday at 11 a.m. Eastern, 10 Central, 9 Mountain, 8 Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com. Remember, pleasure is a practice and play is your medicine.